Stay tuned and let's check out this Star Wars The Black Series, The Return of the Jedi, Deluxe, Boba Fett. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you were following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. And today is May the 4th. So May the 4th be with who? Who? You get it? I'm Dan Who. Never mind. Anyway, what other day than today than to review a Star Wars figure here on the channel, which is very few and far between, I have to admit. But I do collect Star Wars. It's just not something I review much on the channel. But this is my most recent Star Wars The Black Series acquisition. It is, of course, the Star Wars Black Series Return of the Jedi version of Boba Fett in this new deluxe style packaging. So we get a lot more accessories than we're used to getting from these Star Wars Black Series figures, which I am not mad about. Of course, I love options for the display, and that Star Wars display that I'm yet to build, this guy will probably be a centerpiece, as I love this character growing up, as many people did. Just a mystery surrounded by this iconic bounty hunter, and now we get to see him again in his live action form in The Mandalorian. So yeah, very happy to have him in his form before he got, well, eaten by the Sarlacc, if you will. But yeah, in this packaging is very nice, this new sort of streamlined green packaging to match all of the Return of the Jedi figures, which is nice. You can sort of put them on a shelf like books if you're a mint in the box collector. But of course, I'm going to open this guy up and have this Boba Fett on my small Star Wars display that I am currently building. As I said, my Star Wars fandom is mainly live action stuff. Haven't really watched any of the animated things and original trilogy, even the prequels since I grew up on them a little bit, but definitely enjoying The Mandalorian as well so far. So yeah, I do have a lot of Star Wars figures, just don't really open them. But I'm going to open one today. It's May the 4th. Why not? What a day. So here he is in the packaging with all of his accessories. As I said, some nice blast effects there as well. Boba Fett on the box, Return of the Jedi in the green. On the back, we get a little bit of a write-up and a little promo image or graphic or whatever you want to call it. Either way, I'm going to open him up and get him out. And here we have Boba Fett out of the packaging with all of his accessories on the table. Now, as I said, this is my mind's eye version of Boba Fett. I remember watching the VHS tapes of Return of the Jedi over and over again. And yeah, there may be some Star Wars purists out there that say he didn't have that dink of armor or the mustard isn't right on the shoulders. But come on now, it is virtually nearly there. The only thing I won't argue with you on is the colour of his jetpack. Now, I guess only George Lucas and the people that made the film really know, because the source material online could be edited and tweaked. We're never going to know. But I definitely think the yellow on the jetpack should have matched the mustard on the shoulder pads. But that's just me. I do like, however, though, the whole combination. Definitely going to get this guy on a flight stand by the end of the video to see how he looks all posed up with his jetpack and his weapons and the flamethrowers. But yeah, my mind's eye version of Boba Fett looks great. Some nice accessories, which we'll get into in a minute. So let's take a closer look at the man himself. So starting off at this iconic helmet, I genuinely think it looks great, very spot on. However, in the packaging, it was a little bit squeezed. Like the plastic casing was sort of squeezing the helmet, which made it a lot more narrower. So out of the box, I had to put some heat underneath the helmet with some tweezers, give it a bit of a squeeze, and it definitely makes a difference to the shape and the jawline of the helmet. So now I think it looks great, but in the packaging, it was a little bit squashed. The antenna comes down over the eye as well, which I really like, so that articulates. But now the helmet, I think, looks great. Moving down to the rest of the body, as I said, the Star Wars purists out there could probably complain at the scratches and the tones of the colours, but overall I do still think it looks like my mind's eye version of Boba Fett. I like the mustard they've chose for the shoulder pads. I do think that's spot on. You got the red sash down here, and then you got sort of the maroon wrist gauntlets. I like the wires and the cables that are attached underneath the jacket to the gauntlets. We got some more bags and sort of pouches on the back there. This sash is attached to the top, so this won't come off, unfortunately. I'm sure there's going to be people out there unplugging this and adding their own sort of cloth pouch sash. Even maybe at the waist you could do that. There's some ropes that dangle over here, which is a nice touch. And again, the mustardy colour matches the shoulder pads at the knees with some more little silvery details all the way down on the shins with some more little accessories and whatnot. More pouches for God knows what. And then we get these little space boots, if you will. Very square clown space boots, but still, that's what he wears. So yeah, overall, I think it looks great. Definitely, let me zoom out a little bit. Definitely a sort of mind's eye version of Boba Fett. Again, you could complain that that scratch wasn't in the right place or whatever, but come on now. it's not bad. It is not bad. I very much like it. Plugs in the back for the actual jetpack, which I'll get into accessories in a minute. But just to quickly mention our articulation, there is a sort of ball joint at the waist area, but you can get him back and forward a little bit, but not great. So there's no crunch because that would ruin the design of the chest. So that's what you sort of limit in there. Without the crunch, you have got a wiggle, but it works. Bit of tilt there as well. The legs go out quite far as well. The double jointed knees, no, not really. Again, that's because Black Series now are just doing less pieces for the feet, the leg mold. Same with the arms. There are a few sort of articulation choices down here. A lot of swivel. There's swivel at the gauntlet, swivel at the forearm. But yeah, you're not going to get it past there because of the gauntlet. But the arms will go up a little bit. The shoulder pads are soft enough that you can get it at 90. The head will go pretty far around. And depending on how you move the neck, depends on where the articulation is. So at the minute, his head will go all the way down. But if I like twist the neck all the way, now you can get him looking up further, if that makes sense. So you've got to sort of manipulate the neck depending on where you want Boba Fett to look. So there's like a seam line that you sort of have to follow. But yeah, I'll play with that off camera. That will definitely help with posing. But I think you're going to be able to get him in a nice enough pose with the limited articulation he's got. So in regards to figures, I don't think the articulation is the worst, but it's not the best either. Look, there's the knee again. Again, and the same with Black Series. We get all of these accessories, but never any interchangeable hands. So we've got 2 trigger fingers, which is obviously needed because he has guns and whatnot. But I do think a few different hands, fists, and maybe open palm hands for throwing his flamethrower would really make a difference to this guy on display. So yeah, if you're going to give us a deluxe figure, Hasbro, give us some, like, take a page out the Marvel Legends books. Maybe I'm just being spoiled by looking at Marvel Legends all these years. But yeah, some interchangeable hands would really make a difference. But talking about interchangeable pieces, let's look at his accessories. So first up, we got 2 guns. So one is completely attached, and then the other one has got this yellow sort of mark through, because this is representing when Luke actually cut his gun in half. So this actually comes apart. So that's a nice touch if you want to pose your Boba Fett up with a broken gun after Luke got hold of it. But yeah, I like how we get both options though. So we get 2 guns and he can hold them nicely as well, and I will show you that. So here we have Boba Fett dual wielding. Obviously he doesn't do this in the film, but I just wanted to show you he does have 2 trigger finger hands. So the right hand is a much better trigger finger. You can actually get, I don't know if my light's going to let you see that, but you can actually get the finger in the trigger, so that works nicely. The left hand is a little bit sort of harder, for the fingers are more attached as a whole, so you can't get that separate finger off unless you slice it. So yeah, obviously you're not going to be holding them 2 guns anyway, but yeah, the right hand you can definitely get it working nice. This one you can't, but it doesn't matter anyway. This one breaks off. So yeah, there you go. There's your options. Now on the sail barge scene, you'll actually see Boba Fett use this sort of retractor rope, and it wraps around Luke a few times. So they have actually included this as a separate piece that you can sort of attach onto the wrist. So it's only a short rope. It's not very long at all, as you can see. You can maybe get it around Luke once, but he's going to have to be very close to Boba Fett to do it. There is like a sort of hook on the end that probably won't even focus. But yeah, the hook's nice enough. But the rope is just a knot tied at the end of this bit, and this is meant to clamp around the wrist, but it's very loose. Like, it will sit on there, and the colour matches the gauntlet a little bit. It doesn't have any silver highlights on, which makes it stand out, but it is very loose. Like, as soon as I tug this, it will come out. So yeah, you're gonna have to maybe glue that if you really liked it, or squeeze it, or I don't know. But it's a nice touch, definitely accurate to the film. But yeah, probably something I won't use, but it's there. Next up, something I will use is his jetpack, even though I don't think it's 100% accurate. Now, as I said, this is something I won't fight the Star Wars purists on. I don't remember his jetpack being this bright and colourful. I do think this yellow in here should match the sort of mustard of the suit. I think that would make a lot more sense, but for some reason, the source material they used made it look a little bit brighter, and as I said, that's why it's hard to sort of recreate a like nearly 40-year-old film, but still, it's not bad. This rocket actually comes out, this is a separate piece in the box, but it very tightly fits in there nice and snug, so it looks better with the actual rocket on. And then you get these bits at the end, these boosters that actually have holes in, and these articulate, as you can see as well. So we do get these blast effects. So these will plug in the boosters, and now it looks like it's jetting off, and these, as I said, will articulate as well. So we've got 3 plugs on the back of that, and then on the back of the figure as well. So these plug in nice and tight. So now you can have your Boba Fett flying with some jetpacks on the Fett. And again, stuff like that makes such a difference. It really makes the display a lot more dynamic and fun. His sash would probably set on fire at this point, but it's fine. We're going to ignore that fact. And yeah, that looks good. And again, the rocket does come out. So again, looks great, however you want to do it. Rocket in, rocket out, jetpack up. But again, these move a little bit as well. They can wiggle. So he jumps off. I know he jumps off the sail barge to go and meet Luke. So that's sort of how it works. And yeah, looks good. So no complaints were there. But he also comes with this other blast effect. Very nice fiery translucent yellow to orange to a darker sort of orange at the top with some nice sort of flame effects in there as well. When the light gets to it, definitely looks nice. Now the plug at the end is a Pacific shape, and that is so it actually attaches onto his gauntlet. So you got his gauntlet here. Let me twist his hand a little bit. You can see the shape there at the end. So you sort of got to line this up properly, and then these will plug on nice and snug. So hopefully you've seen how that worked, and it is in there nicely as well, so that's not going to fall off. So now we have Boba Fett using a flamethrower, which is a very nice touch. And as I said, stuff like this makes the display pop a lot more. So you get him on a flight stand with his jetpack, with the flamethrower. It's gonna look good. And before we get into some comparisons, because yes, I do have other Star Wars figures, here we have him up on a flight stand, and I just wanted to show you how fun and more dynamic he's gonna look on the shelf, posed up with your figures when he's got the blast effects all in play. And that jetpack, even though it may be a little bit brighter than the actual source material, it still plugs in nicely. You've got the fire effects. One of mine is just bent a little bit. I need to heat that up. But yeah, ignore my terrible flight stand. But it does the trick. Once it's on the shelf, you won't even notice. But yeah, obviously I've articulated my head looking down, so it's sort of like flamethrowering someone on the ground. Who have I got next to me? There's poor. That would his fur would definitely burn, wouldn't it? But you see my point. Like, he's high, he's looking down, it looks good. So yeah, get this guy on a flight stand. Really will make the display pop. And yeah, let's get into some comparisons. So for my first Boba Fett comparison, I am straight up cheating because I haven't even took the Empire Strikes Back version of Boba Fett out of the box. So here is your in-package comparison. But even in the box, you can see some differences, mainly in the tones and the color choices. So obviously, as the films go on, he gets more battle damage. That's obvious. But he's switched to the maroon sort of wrist gauntlets now to the previous green ones. Even the grays are a little bit different. As you can see, they're darker down on the boots of the Empire Strikes Back version compared to Return of the Jedi. The helmets both look good, but again, more battle damage on the Empire Strikes Back version. The guns have got different deco. There is more deco as well on the detailing on the Empire Strikes Back version as well. You can see red, and the logo as well is different to the chest piece here. So yeah, none of them are wrong. Obviously, each to their own. Which is your preference of Boba Fett? I'm always curious to know. Do you prefer the look in the Empire Strikes Back or the look in the Return of the Jedi? They're very similar, but also very different at the same time. So yeah, no wrong answers, just your personal preference. But there is your cheating comparison. Here we have Boba Fett compared to Han Solo. This is probably the best Han Solo you can get in a Black Series. It is the Return of the Jedi version as well, just without his Endor jacket on. And then I think this is the Empire Strikes Back version of Chewie, because the head sculpt's a little bit different. But you can see they all scale really nicely together for display, which is really important for me. Scale definitely makes a difference to the display. Let me move him out the way and bring in Luke Skywalker as well. And as you can see, I think that scale works out very nicely indeed. Now here we have Boba Fett compared to Din Djarin in his Beskar Mandalorian armor, and of course Bo-Katan as well in her Mandalorian garb. And yeah, these look great together, don't they? You can definitely tell they're all within the same sort of universe. Whether Boba Fett is a Mandalorian or not, that is up for question, because I think he just stole the armor. But yeah, look at that. They look great together. Now what's great about these figures is you can actually just pop the helmets off. So this is the Din Djarin sort of deluxe pack version. So there is Din Djarin under his helmet, which is a nice touch. He's just a bit wobbly now. And then we have Bo-Katan under there as well. So the problem is with these Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, any of the original trilogy versions of Boba Fett, you don't see who's under the helmet. So this helmet is obviously just one piece, it won't come off. So I'm hoping moving forward, when we get a Mandalorian version of Boba Fett, and he's in a slightly different version of this armor, we will get a helmet that comes off as well, just like these two, because we all know who's under there, of course. So yeah, that would be very nice, but it's nice to see these together on the shelf as well. Even though it's not completely accurate in regards to timelines, it still looks good. So, final thoughts. I honestly think this is a great Boba Fett for the price point. With that deluxe figure, you get all of these accessories, which are really going to make a difference to your display. Adds that little bit of dynamicness, makes your display pop, makes these figures come to life off your shelf, which does make a difference sometimes to the display. Ignore me, I've got the blast effects in the jetpack while it's standing there. I just wanted to show off everything this figure came with. And again, I do think those flame effects are great. And yeah, I'm sure you're going to love it. This is my favourite Boba Fett that I have. And again, for this price point, I honestly don't think you're going to get a better one. The imports are great, but yeah, for the price point with all of the accessories, you can't go wrong with this Boba Fett. But you let me know what your favourite version of Boba Fett is in the comments below. Is it Return of the Jedi, or is it Empire Strikes Back? Or like me, is it the new Boba Fett we see in The Mandalorian? Because now we're getting a spin-off with the Book of Boba Fett, and I'm sure we're going to see figures from that in the future. We shall see. Only time will tell. I'm sure that's going to happen, though, sooner rather than later. But you let me know what you think. What Boba Fett is your favourite in the comments below? But most importantly, if you like the channel, you like what you see here, and you like action figures, then trust me, you're in the right place. Let me know if you want to see more Star Wars reviews in the comments below. But most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also now become a channel member and hit that join button as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Either or, I appreciate you all the same. Thank you very much. Follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. On my way to 10k, and I will of course see you on the next one.